truly appreciate everybody's effort, because it's this kind of stuff that ultimately we believe will begin to help change the the economic climate of healthcare and help deliver good care to all of the patients in the. And so anyhow, what we'll do is we talked and we were pretty much in agreement on all of our independent decisions. And so basically in third place, we actually chose reality check. We thought that it was a very difficult problem on basically how to try to really align patients' expectations with the overall outcomes and the events that are going on in healthcare itself. There's a lot of things, everything from healthcare literacy issues to how you do shared decision making. All of those pieces makes it very much of a challenging problem. One of the things that we did feel was that if you would have taken it maybe another step further and really began to look at implementing it and looking at how you would actually be able to track the conversation and how that conversation could create a virtuous cycle and go back to being able to help reinform how people miscommunicate at the beginning. That would be a key aspect of things. And it wouldn't be so much that you would always have to rely on the patients cataloging their own experiences. We felt that that would be an important aspect of that, being able to have that like a patient portal. But also having like a professional portal where you would actually be able to understand where the patient's misperceptions are and bringing that to the professionals. And then as the patient goes through and you track their overall experiences, have that again feed back at the front to the professional side of things. So we thought that you guys did wonderful work. We thought that maybe just some other additional things, putting it into there, might make it a little bit more implementable as far as being able to maybe actually influence the conversations when the conversations were happening. But great job. We thought you guys did a wonderful job. For number 2, we did the ER appropriate use for the triage. Again, an incredibly difficult problem to solve. A lot of these problems relate to relying on patients to look up and access information. It's a common theme with lots of the current healthcare issues. But we really liked some of the things that they brought forth as far as ideas. In particular, really looking at trying to improve that interaction and communication, whether through texting, both maybe outbound as well as potentially inbound. So after they leave the ER situation, being able to follow up with them and give them follow-up texts might be an interesting additional add-on. But one of the things that we really liked, that we thought was really a nice creative idea, was if you were able to generate some savings through the use of steering or triaging or making sure they got the most appropriate care, finding a way to incent the patients again. And we loved the idea of taking the incentive and incenting them for something else we've always wanted to do in healthcare. The concept of maybe taking that and giving them a discount off the pharmacy side, where we're really trying to work for med improvement and compliance and making sure they fill their prescriptions, we thought was a great idea. We really liked it and thought that was an excellent idea. Just the information that they pulled together from just the free clinics information and having that all in a consolidated place. Again, being able to make that accessible either through social media or texting or those kinds of things was also a great idea. And again, realizing that if we're going to change behavior, we often have to start with the young. And the concepts of maybe a smartphone app or the text-based thing or social media, and really, again, trying to influence the people in the younger and allowing that to percolate through societies was also, again, great ideas. So we commend you guys very much. You guys did a great job. And so the winner that we picked was Team Hardware. It wasn't just because of the awesome display of electrical engineering and cool stuff being built. That helped. It didn't hurt. But it was also just, it's really a practical approach to a problem that's been around for a long time. And the thing is that, that is interesting is when people talk about secondary infections in the hospitals and things like that, one of the first places people go to is changing physician and caregiver behavior, which is an important aspect of this as well. But they made the point of, if you can save basically one secondary infection, that's 40 grand. And you can buy a lot of UV technology relatively cheaply, and you'd be able to make the return on your investment very, very easy. So even if the numbers may not be that you can cut down 50% of the secondary infections by having UV treated rooms, but you don't need to get 50%. If you had 5% of the infections decrease, where you'd only save 1 or 2 per year, you easily pay for it. And so the fact that it was a nice approach to a long-standing problem that is often multifactorial, involving both physicians and caregivers, but maybe the possibility to really kind of cut down on some of those resistant pathogen stores by fully treating the room, all aspects of the room, not just the surfaces that touch. Because I think that's the other important differentiation, is most of the UV treatments now are really looking at those surfaces where people can touch. But I think it's very clear that it's not just the places that people touch that ultimately lead to recontamination of the room. And that might even be one of the sources for resistant bacteria. We thought that it would be relatively easy for them to even take what they've done and set up a prototype. And so we also thought that that was probably the one that was most likely, if you were looking at it from a business aspect, that was the most viable business straight out of the gates possibility. So again, great job to Team Hardware.
I'd like to just follow up on that one point. I think everybody should be congratulated for being here and doing something. I think it's a celebration of doing, and I think you would be surprised that if you look at the companies that are successful, they all started by people actually doing something, right? And it's hard to remember that when you're not working on a new project, but every startup out there was somebody that maybe not came to a hackathon, but they sat down at their desk and they started to do. And you guys are all doers.
Yep.
So everybody
regarding the shared decision making and the documentation, we had great things to say about you guys as well. We really appreciated all the effort that you guys put into your projects as well. We did talk about the documentation aspect of things, and we talked actually about not only, the transitions of care, because right now, out of electronic medical records, there's a lot of, it's basically paper being generated that then gets rescanned into a separate EMR for like ambulatory care when you're transitioning cares. And that would be another potential place for it to be used. And so we did think that there was certainly some applicability to the documentation. The patient provider or the shared decision making. One of the things that we really liked was the concept of not only having it interactive, and we talked about how like you can go to check my credit, my credit score or whatever, and you can change the variables of your credit score in an interactive way. But what it also does is it allows you to track your prior ones and be able to see how things change over time, and the ability to not only have it be interactive, but maybe kind of like map my run or map my weight or map my sugars and kind of make it so you're tracking your historical information and see how that changes your overall projections on that interactive side of things is kind of a real kind of a nice tool, again, for the shared decision making. So, it was a lot of great work by all the groups involved. We had the unenviable position of trying to have to pick only 3. So everybody did a great job, and again, you all deserve a round of congratulations. It was a real honor for me to be able to participate. Thank you for allowing me to participate.
Thank you, and I just want a couple of teams, if you have some time, I want to talk to the OCR documentation team with some ideas, as well as the triage team.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's one more award. That's the People's Choice Award. And I think we just like things that have spinny lights and move on the floor. Hardware, Team Hardware, you also ran away with that one as well. So you guys should be able to get completely clear, these guys now have an invitation to go represent Southeastern Wisconsin in Washington, D.C., June 5th and 6th. And my goal is to make this a reoccurring event that, boy, which team's coming from this part of the country, because it's going to be super badass. And I bring that word up because I went to a meeting with Todd Park, the Chief Technology Officer of Health and Human Services, and he said that the event would be badass. And I think we made that happen. I really want to thank everybody, the judges. Thank you for coming down. I want to thank Ken for coming down from HHS. We still have the obligatory photo op. Mark will help with that. So if you guys want an award, Mark's the guy to talk to you, and Ken and they're probably just going to step back here to take some pictures. And then I just want to thank everybody for coming out. It was the first time we did this. It's the first time I've ever put an event on like this, and I'm really glad it went really well. And the final thing is thank you for your patience and sticking through it. And then for the people who are just here in the thick of it, like last night was awesome. Like just bouncing around with my different hats on and talking to people. It was cool, and it makes me, like I was telling James and the reporter, like I really believe in what we're doing, and I think that we are the strong part. So thank you very much. Safe travels.
Thank you.
So you guys feel free to hang out. I was going to say if anyone wants to sit on the deck, it's now wet. But safe travels.
Downstairs, if you want some, there's still some food there.
Yep.
So, and if you can, try to clean up as you go.
Yeah, just grab it.
Grab some stuff outside.